Hey guys, Magnus here bringing you another video, and today we are doing a video on another Simpsons Tapped Out event idea. Now this one is a mini update and it's a bit different because today we are reaching into the public domain and we are doing a public domain character that I think they should do an update on. Now Zorro is a character from some very old films and he is in fact public domain, or at least in the United States he is. I'm not sure about Europe, but I think they can get away with it. As long as it's the United States, because the app's based in the United States, I think they get away with it. I'm 90% sure it's all cool though. So Zorro, of course, is a public domain character, meaning they can do a story on him. They can add him to the game because they don't have to worry about rights. Now, normally if they were to add a character that isn't public domain, I would suggest just doing a parody of the character that they could get away with. For example, like Wolf the Bounty Hunter is obviously Dog the Bounty Hunter, and Everyman. See, Everyman's not a great idea. Not a great one. Well, Bartman is obviously Batman. Like, that's another example. So they can do parody stuff, or the Fruit Batman Burns. I mean, come on, that's just Batman. Don't even with me that. All right. But this one is obviously all public domain, so they can definitely do it. And they've done it in the past. We've obviously had Cthulhu, who is a character from some novels ages ago. What's his name? Oh god, I can't think of his name. Lovecraft. We have Dracula, of course, who is a public domain. Nosferatu as well, who's public domain. Obviously, Nosferatu was actually originally a character created to be a version of Dracula, because back then Nosferatu was made when Dracula wasn't public domain. So they've got a character who was made, it's created the levels of public domainness here. But yeah, Zorro is a public domain character, so I figured why not base an entire update on Zorro. So here we go. So the mayor sets up a new toll booth to tax people. Homer says, "Joke's on you, none of us can drive," for some reason. That's a meta joke on the fact that Tapped Out still doesn't have working cars on the game, apart from that like one or two. We all walk, but Quimby explains that people walking through it will also be charged. So he makes Springfielders complain about the toll booth ×3, and that will start the event. The currency of this event was going to be slapping gloves. So just a glove, but we're going to call it slapping gloves. And the tappables, which you will have to do for each part 15 times, will be the iron masks. So there'll just be 3 different iron masks. Probably one without a Z on his thing, one with a Z, and maybe one with like a sword through his chest. Maybe that could be kind of cool. So you have 3 different ones, but they're all kind of similar. Yeah, and that way, yeah, they sort of just walk around your town. It'd be a shame if we didn't get them as NPCs after, but I feel like the trend now is that they're just adding the tappables and we're not getting them as NPCs, which is a real shame. I'm really hoping that like in the Black Friday update or something, or like some kind of update, that maybe they'll do like another yard sale update where we get all the tappables from the previous event. That could be like a cool way of adding them in. But anyway, the eye masks will be the tappables of this event. There will be a super premium item, so after you've started the event, obviously, you get the super premium item which will unlock, and the super premium item will be Mrs. Zorro with the tray of donuts for $8.99 or $8.99 or pounds, whatever it is in euros. So you get the tray of donuts, obviously, and you get this character, which is Mrs. Zorro, aka Zorro's, I presume Zorro's wife, or at least there's like a little credit scene where obviously the Simpsons characters are watching the film in a theatre, and then the credits roll in the theatre, and there's a character casted as Mrs. Zorro, so I'm presuming this lady here is Mrs. Zorro, and obviously Zorro says, "Your honor's been, ruined or whatever, or, you've been dishonoured," and goes after the guy that she's been sleeping with, so I presume that means that this is Mrs. Zorro. Moving on, we have our prize... No, this is not our prize track. This is our store. So in the store will be Scarlet Pimpernel with the Opera House for 150 donuts. So you get Scarlet Pimpernel here, who is Zorro's nemesis, I guess. So you get Scarlet Pimpernel as a full playable character, and then you get this Opera House here as a building, which is a quite nice looking building. I think this could be very cool to have. So, yeah, that's the first thing in the store. Obviously, this is the first thing in the Super Premium. And then this is the thing in the store for 150 donuts. And then we have our quest line. So Homer is told he's needed in work by Burns, and Homer is forced to pass through the toll booth and pay a whole $1. Homer is mad. This isn't right. We're being taxed for no reason. Homer tries to start a boycott, but everyone is willing to pay the $1. It's not that much. So you make Homer start a one-man protest, make Springfielders empty their piggy banks ×5, make Quimby implement the toll booth, and make Springfielders earn slapping gloves, and this will unlock the toll booth. So this will be a building in the game. You can place it, and you'll be able to place roads through this part and also the other part, through both parts. And that way, it kind of is a little bit unique. So it's a building that actually goes on the road. And yeah, I don't know. I feel that could be like a really cool, unique thing for this building. So yeah, it goes through this and this thing. Actually, it's 50 cents, not $1. I guess we'd have to probably change that in the quest line. But yeah, this will be a full playable. This will be a full building. It won't be a decoration. And it was actually seen in the Zorro episode when Homer basically slapped this guy with his glove, so to be able to not pay the 50 cents. So I've kind of although that's not the plot point of the episode, I've kind of taken that and implemented it and made that the main focus of this update. So unsurprisingly, no one listens to Homer and he's on his own. Marge explained it's really not that big deal, but Homer is sick of it already. He even has to pay for it if he goes to Moe's, unless the Skyfinger can move Moe's next door. Homer meets the squeaky-voiced teen who's running the booth, and Homer thinks, screw this. So you make Homer threaten the glove, make squeaky-voiced teen, this is if you own him, but you make squeaky-voiced teen let Homer through, uncharged. Make Springfielders pay the toll booth ×5, and then also you make Springfielders earn slapping gloves, and you unlock the practice glove slapping as an animation. So this will be an animation for Homer. He'll be walking around town, basically just flapping that glove around, trying to slap people. And maybe I kind of think maybe it could be cool if there was some characters involved with it, but I don't know. It could be Skinner, or they could be Ned or something. Maybe there could be a character he's involved with, or it could just be cool to see him just waving it around, practicing slapping, which he does do in the episode. So yeah, that'll be an animation. Squeaky Voice Teams quits, and Quimby knows about this rogue toll booth jumper roaming around town. He decides anyway, he needs someone tough to guard the toll booth, and he visits Zorro, asking him if he can be the one to guard the booth. Zorro accepts on one condition: he must learn the location of his enemies, including Scarlet. Quimby accepts, and Scarlet runs away, scared. So you make Quimby reveal Zorro's enemies' locations, make Homer think he's the man, make Springfielders fangirl over Zorro, 4×5, and make Springfielders earn slapping gloves, and this will unlock the Three Musketeers, who are obviously one of Zorro's enemies. And these guys, I know it's going to be annoying, but these guys I think can either be an NPC or just a decoration. Now I would rather they be an NPC, personally, so they would just be 3 guys walking around, and when you tap them they kind of on guard their swords. So they won't be a crowd, but they will be an NPC. The only thing is they're not very significant enough to give them at least for me anyway, or at least for the purpose of this update, they're not significant enough to make full playables. But if they wanted to go all out and try and make this a big major update, which I guess they would have to add a lot of stuff from other episodes, but if they wanted to try and do that, I guess that could be kind of cool, and they could make the Three Musketeers actual playable characters. But just for now, I've kept them as NPCs that would walk around, so when you tap them, they're kind of on guard basically, and yeah, they'll just be walking around as a big 3-in-1 NPC. Homer goes to the toll booth and sees Zorro there. He slaps Zorro, and Zorro challenges Homer to a duel. Homer is scared and worried, but Scarlet, obviously Zorro's enemy, offers to train Homer in the art of swordsmanship. But Homer needs a sword that fits his hand, so you make Homer try out different swords, make Marge be worried for Homer, make Bart get excited for the duel, and make Springfielders earn slapping gloves, and this will unlock weapons and armor. So I know that this is a building from the Simpsons episode, but I needed an armor, somewhere that would sell swords realistically, and this was the only thing I could find. I couldn't find anything just in Springfield, so sadly I have to pull something out of the Simpsons episode, which I know technically is a non-canon anyway. But then Zorro was a fictional thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'm just putting this building out there, but I don't know, it could work. I'm not sure if they're going to go all out one day and give us a Simpsons update. It's really weird because a lot of them would either be costumes or doppelganger characters if they wanted to do that. But personally, I would also just be happy if they slowly give us some stuff just throughout other updates. That wouldn't bother me too much, to be honest. So you get this as a building in your game. And so Scarlet trains Homer, but he's not ready. He's not really cut out for it much, and he can barely hold a sword, but still the duel is coming up. Scarlet asks his teacher to teach Homer, and his teacher is Comic Book Guy. Comic Book Guy gives Homer some tips, and the duel commences. So you make Homer duck Zorro's sword swings, make Comic Book Guy give Homer tips throughout the duel, make Bart root for Zorro, make Marge close her eyes in horror, and make Springfielders earn slapping gloves, and this will unlock Zorro as a full, playable character. Awesome. And that is the event. And then we have our little epilogue. Homer is now forever scarred, with a Z in his chest, and Zorro tells him never to mess with the toll booth again. Homer agrees, and Zorro goes off into the dead of night, so you make Homer fish out 50 cents. This should be, I don't know why I put a pound instead of $1. But it'll be, make Homer fish out 50 cents, make... for the toll booth, make Zorro disappear into the night, and that will be the end of the update. So that is my little update for the Zorro update. I don't know, I think there's definitely something here. Sorry that there's an animation here, I just couldn't find a decoration to throw in here, sadly, so it had to be an animation. Sadly, this update will give us 0 animations if it were to come, but we are getting 2 awesome buildings, a very cool NPC, a very awesome playable character, 2 more awesome playable characters, and 1 cool building there as well, another cool building, and then 1 animation. But it was tricky. I was trying to find a decoration, couldn't really find one. I didn't want to just have like a glove because that would be boring, so an animation I think works better personally. So yeah, and I've said before, I'm cool with animations being in the prize track if A, they are for characters that we already have in the game, and B, it's not like an animation included with a decoration that was previously added in this update. So, for example, I'm not a huge fan of the Grandpasaurus animation that we got in the latest Treehouse of Horror, the one with the pods. That annoys me because we're getting an animation for a decoration that we got in the previous act. Whereas this is like not, because this is just Homer walking around on his own. And yeah, that is my update. So let's go on to some tasks and animations. So we have, for Mrs. Zorro, we have try fix her dress for 60 minutes. So this will be her dress keeps falling apart because of the sword. And, you know, I think Zorro can't really be involved with this animation. So her dress will basically keep falling down and she'll be trying to, like, pin it back together. And it will fall down and you'll see the Z on her, like, blouse, basically. And she'll be, like, fixing it up. Try and move past her husband for 4 hours. That will be in the Brown House or the Opera House, maybe. It could be anywhere. Bury another boyfriend for 8 hours. This will be the cemetery if you own it. If you don't own it, this could be, I don't know, the church. That would work. Paint over Z's for 12 hours. So this will be at any wall that you own, any sort of the brick wall. You have to be able to place a brick wall to be able to progress in this quest line. And also to unlock this animation, but you place like a, you know, your normal red brick wall, and there'll be basically, she'll go up to any one of them, the closest one she's to, and there'll be a big Z painted across the wall, and she'll just be there painting over it in like red paint. And then after that, she'll kind of look, I don't know, she'll go to another one that has a Z on it, or possibly the same one has a Z on it again, and she just paints over it again. I don't know, maybe it'll just reset. And then finally, file for divorce for 24 hours. That'll be at the courthouse. And yeah, basically her quest line, if you didn't guess from her quests and her tasks, her quest line will essentially be that she's trying to have a boyfriend, a new boyfriend, after she's sick of Zorro treating her like his property. So she's like, I'm finding a new boyfriend. I don't know, maybe Frank Grimes could be her boyfriend. That could be kind of funny. Frank Grimes comes in, is her boyfriend for a bit, and then Zorro kills Frank Grimes, and Frank Grimes has to be reburied. And then in revenge, she paints over the Z's and also files for divorce. And then for Scarlet, what's his name again? He has such a weird name. Scarlet, Pimpernel. God, took me a while there. For Scarlet Pimpernel, we have practice swordsmanship for 60 minutes. So this will be Scarlet with a sword, basically, you know, covering his eyes and like waving it around and trying to practice swordsmanship pretty much, but looking like what's the word? A bit of an amateur. Yeah. Watch an opera show for 4 hours. This will be the Opera House. Hide from Zorro for 8 hours. This could be the Brown House, I guess, or just the police station or something like that. Get into disguise for 12 hours. So this will be him at the Opera House, and he'll be in the little booth here, and he'll be like in the booth with maybe like a wig on, like another type of wig, maybe like a long hair wig, and maybe some like lipstick as well. Like he's pretending to be a woman inside the little booth, you know, and maybe he's got a dress on as well. Why not? And yeah, he's in disguise. He's scared of Zorro, so he's hiding away. And then look for a new teacher for 24 hours, or I should maybe clarify, a new sword teacher or swordsmanship teacher for 24 hours, and that will be at the Adults Annex if you own it. If not, the town hall or the church would work. Yeah, why not? Yeah, and that's pretty much his quest line. If you didn't guess, is he is worried because Zorro's in town now, or Zorro's around, and he basically wants to make sure he can fight Zorro. So he has a teacher at first. It's comic book guy, and then he ends up sort of practicing. Zorro is obviously going to beat him, so he decides to get into disguise and hide. Well, he decides to hide, but then he realizes he can't hide forever, so he decides to go to disguise. And then eventually he looks for a new teacher. He's like, screw it, I have to face my fears. And then finally for Zorro, we have defeat the Three Musketeers for 60 minutes. So this will be an animation with the NPCs. And basically it will be Zorro fighting them and stabbing all three of them with one sword below and then killing them. And then repeat. Buy a new sword for 4 hours. This will be at the Weapons and Armor place, the Simpsons building. Run the toll booth for 8 hours. That will be at the toll booth. Try on the crown for 12 hours. This will be him. In the episode, King Arthur gives Zorro his crown. So Zorro will be basically trying on his crown, and maybe he'll have like a big king's robe on as well, and like a big one of those like king staff thingies, and he'll be walking around pretending to be king, or like, you know, be like, maybe I could be king of Springfield, and then make new enemies for 24 hours. That will be at the nuclear power plant, because he decides to try and take on Burns, essentially, after deciding that he wants to be the king of Springfield. But he knows he can't be the king because Mr. Burns has his pocket and everything, so he's like, screw it, I'm gonna make new enemies, I'm gonna challenge Mr. Burns. And so that is my Zorro event. I don't know, I think there's something here. I definitely think they could make this. I think this could be an act as well, in like a film update. If they wanted to do like an update based on like the fictional films in Springfield, I definitely think this could be an act of that. Or alternatively, it could just be its own separate update like it is here. But tell me your thoughts on it. What do you think? Do you think that this is a cool little event? I definitely think it would be awesome to have Zorro in the game and to see some maybe like a little quest line based around him. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this idea. Make sure to head over to the Discord to vote for the major update that you would like to see next. I do have a Thanksgiving update planned. It's a mini update, but I'll probably do that around when Act 4 starts to wrap up. I'll do it sometime there of the Treehouse of Horror update. But anyway, like I said, head over to the Discord, vote for which major update you would like to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.